Now, the most important thing what you should understand in COVID-19 airway management is the three most important aspects of COVID-19 airway management are safe, accurate, and swift. Now, what do I mean by safe? Whatever you do, it should be safe for the staff as well as the patient. Okay, so we are trying to save a patient who is infected with coronavirus, fair enough. At the same time, whatever procedures, whatever interventions you're going to do, you have to do it in a manner which is not only safe for the patient, but also safe for your own staff as well as yourself. See, in any critically ill patient, when you're about to intubate a critically ill patient, what happens is most of the critically ill patients, when you intubate, 80% there will be some element of hypoxemia which will be accentuated when you intubate. Okay, there will be a drop in hypoxia still further. But what you have to understand is, in critically ill COVID-19 patients, they are already extremely hypoxic. So when they're extremely hypoxic, when you intubate these patients, the chances of them becoming more hypoxic is at a higher level. And 2 to 3% can also have a cardiac arrest. So whatever procedure you choose, whatever technique you employ, it should be very safe for the staff. At the same time, healthcare workers should also be at safety. And it should be accurate. That is also very important. Please avoid unreliable, unfamiliar techniques. If you're used to intubating in the normal manner, go ahead and intubate in the normal manner. If you're not used to using technical gadgets like a video laryngoscope, etc., it doesn't make sense to attempt a video laryngoscope at that juncture. Got it? So whatever technique you're going to use, it should be very accurate and you should be comfortable with it. It should be swift. It should be extremely time bound. So do not intubate when you're going to intubate a patient. Don't take undue time. Do it very safe. At the same time, it should be done in an extremely timely manner, and there should be no rush. Don't rush into the procedure. Keep yourself very well planned. Don't rush into the procedure, and there should be absolutely no delay. So that is also very important. Where to intubate a patient? So the most important thing is where to intubate a patient is extremely important. So you cannot be intubating COVID-19 patients everywhere. Okay, so there has to be a particular room where you have to intubate. Ideally, in all intensive care units, there should be an isolation room called as a negative pressure room. Very important. There should be an isolation room with a negative pressure room. Now you're seeing in this particular pictorial representation how passive airflow takes place, and when there is a negative pressure created, this negative pressure forces the air out. So whatever air is there in that particular room, that has to be recirculated. It has to be taken out. Fresh air should come in so that any aerosol, anything which is being generated is diluted. As a result, the particular room is safe. So here I am clearly telling you how a negative pressure room works and how an isolation room should be there. But in a pandemic situation, remember, in a pandemic situation, what happens? The number of hospitalizations will be at an all-time high. People will be coming into the critical areas in a very sick state. Some of them who are admitted in hospitals, those patients may have to be intubated. So that is also very important. So now you may not get an ideal negative pressure room in every hospital. Even in corporate hospitals, standalone hospitals, which have got a very good financial status, etc., and which are a branch of hospital which have a lot of ICUs, etc., still each hospital may not have more than 3 to 5 isolation rooms with a proper negative pressure. And major medical colleges, government institutions, they may have some isolation rooms with negative pressure, but they will not have that many rooms to handle such a large number of patients. So what do? We have to create isolation rooms. How do we create isolation rooms? See, this particular session I'm taking is so that if at any particular time all of you are going to face a situation in your hospitals, wherever you manage, you may have to have a certain level of isolation rooms. So how do you prepare? Overnight you cannot prepare. What you can do? See, you can see a large exhaust fan there. So cut the wall, put an exhaust fan. And through the outside of the exhaust fan, you attach a HEPA filter. So by this method, you will be able to drive the air out. So this you can do in every single rooms which you have. You can convert that into a negative pressure room, or it may not be an ideal negative pressure room, but it is better than any other room. And in all those rooms, you can attach air and oxygen so that you can ventilate patients in those individual rooms. So that is how you have to go. So create a room, add an exhaust fan, cut down the AC, drive the air out, get a filter in the outside. You can also put some filters inside the room. And then apart from that, you can put air and oxygen. You can attach the tubes, etc. so the ventilatory support can be provided. So this is the way you can go. This is the way how you can create isolation rooms or negative pressure rooms in your institutions if at all a situation arises where you have to receive these kind of patients. So very important where you intubate these patients.